Hello and welcome to another video, right? This is the third one in the series. This one is titled How to Kill a Brand. We've talked about how to build one. Today we're going to be talking about how to kill one. There are two videos already in the series which I'm going to encourage you to watch. As the video proceeds, you're going to be seeing them at the top of your screen, somewhere here. If you don't see them there, then check the description of the video and scroll all the way to the bottom. You'd find them there as well. So let us proceed. Building a brand is hard, right? I'm not really going to go into all that because that's why I made that video in the first place, so as not to elongate this one. In this one, we picked a company. In that one, we picked a company, right? Xiaomi, and how they built a global brand. Especially here, we focus here on Nigeria. Probably, wherever you live, I'm sure it's the very same thing too, because they had a very unified approach way back then in 2017, 2018, 2019, probably even 2020 as well. In this one, we're going to be talking about how to destroy a brand, and we're also going to be using them as an example, unfortunately. So they serve as a good example, they serve as a bad example. They're still around. They still are, but it's no longer what it used to be. So let's get started. Right, so to kill a brand is very easy. Again, it's the same 5 simple steps that I've outlined to make it very easy. Right, so to build a brand, you need to make good phones. To kill a brand, you make poor phones. So where people already know you for making good phones, you basically make poor phones. Or basically, if you don't do that, you start repeating phones, as we've seen them do since 2021. Some could argue 2022, but for me, it's 2021. Since 2021, it's been the same phone. The Redmi Note series has been the same. If you've been seeing any of my videos, please make sure to check them. I've already done about several videos on this topic. The one I like the most being the problem with Redmi, right? Repeat the same phones. So basically, if you bought a phone in 2021, for example, and you say, oh, I'm tired of this, my phone, it's old, I need better performance, I need to upgrade, let me go and buy a new phone. And you go and buy a new phone in 2025, you're basically getting the same thing, the same level of performance, the same level of, in fact, some things have even been downgraded for you. You don't get 4K video anymore. Your charging speed has probably been reduced from 67 watts to whatnot now, to 45 or 33, depends. Yeah, so basically back to pre-2021 at times. That's one. Then 2, whereas once upon a time you made phones affordable for everybody, now you start overpricing them. Once upon a time, your phone was half. Somebody with plenty zeros was selling their own for 120K. You were selling your better phone for 60K. Now your phone is starting to become more expensive than theirs. Meanwhile, they are trying to put their phones at an acceptable level. You're pricing yours to the moon, as if it's crypto. Of course. 3, you ignore your branding, you ignore your gaming. Once upon a time, it was about making quality phones affordable for everybody, but now, what even concern you? Do you even care? Put it there, they will buy anyway, they're in love with the brand. 4, you ignore your community. You come in, right? You don't reply comments on Facebook, you don't reply comments on Twitter, you don't engage with your community. MI fans is no longer what it used to be, at least here in Nigeria. When I say this, it's mostly, I'm mostly referring to here. You just your community that used to be at the forefront of everything, you put them one side first, you push your state this side. We're in the business of making money now. And of course, finally, you rely on influencers and marketers to sell your product, whereas once upon a time, you relied on the community, the phones, and word-of-mouth referrals to sell. So this video I'm not my usual excited self, right? I'm not my usual self, because if you saw the first video I made, you'd know how much I benefited or how much I gained and why I went to town. Some people told me that. So there's some people who I know all the way back from all those years, from 2019, when I was heavily canvassing. They're like, bro, how far? You be influencer, they pay you money. I'm like, no, these phones are just genuinely good, right? If you make a good product for the customer, then the customer should give you loyalty, so long as you're willing to be in their corner and produce good stuff for them. That has been my philosophy from day one. It hasn't changed, right? It has not changed. So you see a brand like this that came into the market with very good phones that were affordable, that had a gimmick that said, you, the customer, we want you to have an affordable phone. I didn't know in my mind, I never thought in 2019, right, with my low-end job that I was doing at the time, that I could afford a phone with 48 megapixel cameras and Snapdragon 660 in 2019. It was a pipe dream. If it was up to those brands, the ones that were here, that had the ability to offer those type of specs, They were selling a weaker phone for 120,000. They would have sold the Redmi Note 7 for probably 200k back then. What chance did I have with my 30k end power job that I was doing in 2019? I had no chance. But in 4 months, I was able to buy that phone. In 4 months, I saved rigorously. In 4 months, I was able to do that. It was incredible, and you had the community of like-minded people that, you know, like you had the brand there that were telling you, you know, these are the specs, this is the specs for offering. You see the specs, these specs. They're teaching you specs, they're teaching you what to expect, they're teaching you the ability of their phones, and all that you were learning. There was a beef between Realme and Redmi, and you know, because Xiaomi had us in their corner, we had Xiaomi back, and then we're all for, you know, Redmi all the way. And then they came, they're like, you know what, we don't really care about making good phones for you guys. There are 5G phones elsewhere. Do we really need to give that to you? Of course not. Start using the same phone. You reuse, recycle, reuse, recycle, reuse, recycle the old phones. And then they start giving you those ones. If that wasn't enough, they ignored the gimmick. You know what? We joined because, you know, the phone had the smartphone company had our back. They wanted to make quality phones for us to afford. Nah, leave that one first. They ignored their gimmick, you ignore your community, and you ignore those ones. You see, the problem most of the time that I have with many Nigerians, right, is that we are usually slow on the uptake, unfortunately. I don't care if this hurts anybody, but it's true. I am a Nigerian myself, and I know there are several stuff too that I'm actually very slow to pick up on. But generally, technologically speaking, we're a bit slow on the uptake, right? So when the thing was in its heyday, right, when we were shouting, Xiaomi, Xiaomi, people were looking at us very, very suspiciously from the side, and they were like, what are they doing? This one, so, oh, this one that came from China, it go spoil, it go spoil, it go scatter just now. And then, you know, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, now they want to buy in, right? Some people tell you that, do you know anything? Do you know Xiaomi? Bro, I know people who have been using Xiaomi since the disastrous Redmi Note 4. I'm telling you, when Xiaomi hadn't even found their feet, since the disastrous Redmi Note 4, the one that was the iron plate, I know people who have been using that phone. You want to know how many years now? Some of you only picked up the brand and started using it today, and you feel you know everything. Or maybe some of you are just marketers that were paid to, you know, go around the internet and look for anybody that badmouths the brand and say, or criticizes them, and then you become the attack dog. It won't last, right? Even slow people eventually will get to, they'll reach the point where they understand that, or more, is this it? Is this how it is? And then your brand will start going like this. You know, there were some people that were around before Xiaomi came, and they did this. Everything I've said here, they've done it. They were repeating phones, they overpriced them, they relied on marketers and influencers. I know what happened when Redmi came and everybody moved that way. They had to adjust. They had to adjust some of their policies and started to make decent phones. They were no longer giving us P35 phones with 64 MP as flagship. No, they had to modernize. The same thing. History is cyclical. For those people who don't learn from it, it repeats itself, and it will always happen. Unless, of course, it's an inside job. But hey, that's me putting on my conspiracy theory thing for a hat. That's it. That's the video. Thank you very much for coming. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share small actions like yours. Ignore the mosquitoes that have small channels like mine grew. Of course, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.